And we're live. I like that everybody has variation in their backgrounds. It's making me feel creative and inspired.
I didn't realize how crazy the upstairs of my house looks when it's blurred. I mean, it looks crazy
It looks
anyway because every
great.
wall's a different color.
It
It's
looks like
every
a
wall around has a
rainbow.
yeah. That's generally what we're going for. It's based off of the buildings in Old San Juan that face the sea. Google them sometimes. They're absolutely beautiful.
Wow. Well, I like the rainbow. I think it's very fitting and very on brand.
Very much so.
All right, we're going to give everybody 3 minutes to start. So we'll start at 3 minutes past, but welcome, welcome if you're joining us.
Feel like we should have like some royalty-free like lobby music going so we can just jam out.
I know. We were just talking about how the next product feature update we want to see in these webinars, Zoom or Google Meet things is a music integration. If anybody has tips, best practices on how they play welcome music at the beginning, I'm all ears because it's always like the one thing everybody wants at the top.
I briefly streamed on Twitch, and you can use a virtual data cable
Okay.
as a plug-in that will play music through your microphone to everybody.
Yeah, that's always the trick, right? Because sometimes if you play audio from your computer, it just comes in choppy for all the viewers. And as a viewer,
Yeah.
you're kind of All right, we'll give everybody 1 more minute and then we will do our kickoff. Welcome, folks tuning in, and thanks so much for joining us. All righty, we're going to get started. Thank you, everybody, so much who is joining us live. And if you're watching this recording, thank you for watching and thank you for joining us there as well. Welcome to the only masterclass where you get to hear from experts at both Pinterest and Picsart. So it's very special. We're very excited today. The experts you're going to meet today are going to give you special insider tips on how to get the best product shots in minutes. And they're going to teach you how to grow your content's reach. So the main themes of today are eye-catching content, consistency of that content, and efficiency, because who doesn't want hours added back in their day, right? And as a special gift to you guys who have RSVP to this live masterclass, you're going to be receiving a discount of 50% off a year-long subscription for Picsart Pro. So that means you get 1 full year Picsart Pro at half the price. We want to make sure that you get the most out of the tips that you learned today. So that is our special thank you for joining us live. If you have questions during the session today, please feel free to submit your questions via the Q&A feature. You can access that feature by tapping on the shapes icon in the bottom right corner of your browser. And we'll be answering your questions live at the end of the session. And if there are any questions we don't get to live, we'll be sure to include answers to those in the blog post that's going to be published following this session. So keep an eye out. All right, that's all the housekeeping we have for today. It is, without further ado, my absolute pleasure to introduce you to your experts for today, starting with our speaker from Pinterest, Michelle Picsart.
Hi there. Can everyone see the screen? I don't see the presentation. Are we sharing that? Just to check, but I'll introduce myself anyway. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Picsart from Pinterest. Thank you. I see that now. Brilliant. I'm strategic partner lead for platforms and agencies. I'm based in the UK, and I partner with creative scheduling tools and creative tools such as the wonderful Picsart and creator agencies to educate the industry on the latest and greatest of Pinterest. A little about me, I've been at Pinterest for 7 years now, and I'm currently pinning all things interior design to do up my house. I'm looking forward to teaching you all how to use Pinterest to grow your business and audience today. Over to you, Thibaut.
Thank you, Michelle. This is Thibaut, and I'm from Picsart. I live in France. I'm French, you can see from the background. And yeah, I've been with Picsart for a year. I lead the product organization. I used to work at Adobe for more than 10 years. I'm a former designer, and I love all things content related. I have my own Instagram account / boogiewax for the soul collectors out there, where I create content all the time. And yeah, I'm excited to be here with you and talk about content creation to power your small business. And Baz, up to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am Baz Morris, the dirtiest unicorn of Dirty Unicorn. We are a queer-owned, hoof-crafted brand of artisanal soaps, cosmetics, beard care, etc., home goods, candles. We do a lot of things. We've been in business for 4 years. Me and my husband do this entirely full-time from day one. So let's get going.
All right, so Picsart, for those of you who don't know Picsart, we have been around for more than 10 years, and we are a product used by more than 100 million users. We have millions of users using the product on mobile, on iOS or Android, or also on the web. And what really our mission has been since the beginning to really empower people to be creative. Today we have lots of tools that we're gonna show. If you use the product, you're gonna see we also have a lot of AI tools, because AI can accelerate your productivity. And one of the things that we're gonna do today is see how Baz from Dirty Unicorn is using Picsart to accelerate his business for creating content to market his business. So yeah, Baz, why don't you talk a little bit about your business?
So as a small business owner, I have to wear 100,000 hats every single day and switch from task to task to task faster than my brain can keep up with half the time. And keeping up with things like new products on the website, product submissions to my vendors, and creating media for social media is almost an impossible task most of the time. And through the power of AI, I've recently been able to actually start getting not only on top of it, but ahead of it. And it's been such a wonderful, wonderful tool.
Amazing. I can relate, because my wife is a small business owner, and she's spending so much time on getting photos to look right. Between the shooting, buying the right lights, doing the editing, you have to use a lot of tools. I have been doing part-time support for her job, but she's actually been using Picsart to actually remove backgrounds and do other things to accelerate her productivity. So maybe we can go to the next slide and talk a little bit about some of the key use cases. One of the things that's really hard for small business is product photography. I mean, you need your product to look stunning. What's interesting is when we interview a lot of small businesses, we realize that they don't know about the latest tools that exist to actually make things simple. Just yesterday, I was talking to a small business owner, and she was removing the background manually using all kinds of hacks. And I was like, do you know that there's this tool called Remove Background? And it's like, I mean, it sounds obvious, but there's just a lot of simple things. And then from actually editing the photo to actually adding text, turning it into the ad, maybe you can talk a little bit about, like, the breadth of things that you have to do to make your product look stunning on your website, and maybe even running ads online.
Well, first off, you do have to start with like at least a somewhat decent image. And I think when I talk to the fellow business owners that I work with, and others, like especially like soap companies, because soap and candles we have to sell everything visually through a website, but our product is actually fragrance based. So we have to do a lot of tips and tricks to like enhance photos and make these like weird lifestyle photos,
Right.
so that you can smell the product instead of just seeing it. And it used to take forever using 3 or 4 different like software programs or apps on a phone, and it has been nightmarish. And I'm actually a graphic designer in my history. I'm actually good with these programs, and it would still take me hours sometimes to get it to look right. But one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that every modern camera phone, like every camera feature on a modern phone, can take an amazing basic shot. And with tools like Picsart, you can take just these basic shots and turn them into absolute web gold.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome to hear. I we didn't rehearse that. The fact that you say you're a graphic designer and you're like, I struggle to do that stuff. Like, can you imagine for people that don't have that background in using, more complex tools? One thing that's cool with Picsart is that, we say internally, you don't need multiple apps. You just need one app. It's Picsart. And that's powerful. I know many of you that are watching, small business owners, probably have many tools. You have this app for this filter, you've got this app for video, you've got this app for doing this and that, and watermarking or batching. Well, you can just use one app. You can do templates, you can do watermarking, you can do photo editing with Picsart. So it's awesome, Baz, to hear that you actually, that's kind of like your marketing powerhouse is by using Picsart. Are you using it on the web or mobile?
Both. I call it my little art department in my pocket, because we do a lot of pop-up events, and it's one of my favorite things to do is just be able to pop out this one app, take a photo real quick, and have like this completely templated, like gorgeous thing to post online in seconds sometimes.
I love that tagline, Caitlin, that the little Picsart, the art department in your pocket. Baz, we'll give you royalties. I think that's what we're going to use going forward. So maybe let's get started. I'm personally really passionate about product photography because I think with the technology, especially with AI today, it's just incredible what you can do. I remember 5 years ago when I was at Adobe, it was technology wasn't there. And so now in a few clicks, you can go from okay to stunning. So maybe, Baz, do you want to walk us through like the use cases that you go through from capturing to actually augmenting and then sharing and then actually the whole workflow? That would be super, super, super helpful.
So today we're going to talk through 3 different use cases for Picsart, but I'm going to do a live demo of one that I find the most useful as a small business owner to help me with the things that are the one thing I have the hardest time doing, which is keeping up with social media and making it look really slick and really clean. So this is the Picsart layout. I'm going to start with my Pinterest pen size, make sure we're good here. Going to go to my uploads here where I uploaded my Frankly Lisa soap. This is a tie-dyed 90s inspired soap scented with a calamansi and basil, sage, and mint. It's a fan favorite for sure.
That sounds like it smells so good.
It's nice and it's like spicy and sharp, but also kind of soothing at the same time. It weirdly reminds me of Bed Bath and Beyond, Bath and Body Works, the big one in the 90s.
Yeah, Bath and Body Works. Bath and Body Works was totally my jam.
I tried a cucumber melon with it before, and it was too much. It was way too 90s. Anyway, so I'm going to remove the background here, so I have something nice and clean to work with. And let's go to my templates. I used this one the other day, and I really loved it. It has that kind of like odd 90s vibe. Not you. Sit down. You.
Oh, that one is really cute.
So I'm going to go back to my, because I overwrote it when I did that. Come on, Brad.
Oh, I see what you mean. The template totally goes with it.
It looks like Lisa Frank stickers.
Yes.
Get rid of my collage back here. And I'm going to actually enlarge the bar to go over this white section. The white section is actually part of the template, but not part that I want to draw attention to. So enlarge our photo here. I'm going to shift this back a little bit so it's hiding behind one of the stickers. It's a little bit more incorporated. And while I'm at it, we'll see if I can sharpen this up. So go to my more tools. Go to my AI Enhanced. No, seriously, where is it?
That's weird. I know what you mean. There it is.
It's right here. Okay.
Gorgeous.
All right. So I'm going to all right. So I'm going to enhance this photo a little bit, see if I can make it a little bit sharper, a little bit prettier. AI Enhance. Let it do its thing.
This is one of my favorite tools. I use it on almost everything.
It's so good. And it's so subtle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it never looks over processed, but there's always just like,
things too. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it just pops with that ever so slightly more. And actually, truly, it makes it look more like it really does in real life in this case.
Oh, great. Good to know.
Yeah, since I shot this with my iPhone, the color correction isn't necessarily the best. And so having something that will adjust for me is really wonderful. Do it where I want you. There we go. Okay, now kind of feeling the flowers, but not so much the backdrops. So we're gonna go here. And I want something a little bit more trippy, but kind of in that Lisa Frank genre. So let's go gradients. See what we got here. Something spicy.
Ooh.
Spicy, but not too distracting. I think we have a winner. I think we have a
It looks
winner.
like it was made for it. This is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I love this. All right. Now let's add some little bit of text here. Texty. So this is one of my favorite features. It's such a time saver. It's these pre-formatted, like beautiful little like almost stamps of text you can throw on here. And when I'm in a hurry, this is like my favorite thing to do because I don't have to think about it at all. Just get it in the right size, the right space, and then change the type for it. If I can remember the name of the soap, it'd be great. Adjust you out, get you the right size, and get that in here. Adjust my spacing, adjust my line height down. Like this does so much. And this is like software that is like stuff that would used to take me like so much time, like half an hour, 30, 45 minutes to do something like this in something like Illustrator. And here it's just all frankly point and click.
Love
I
it.
didn't make that too big, so let's go take it down in size. And I want to tilt it a little bit, make it a little more funky. I want to follow like good design. I want to follow the flowers here, little circle.
Yeah.
Now, if I was feeling like really OCD and I really want to put some of my brand colors, I could actually keep this text highlighted, pop over here to my fill, and change my fill colors to whatever I wanted them to be. Or I can go down here to edit, and I can actually change my stroke size and its color and its shadow. But I like it the way it is in this case. So we're going to leave it just like that. And do one more little texty drop here. Add text. Down here, I do not like this font though. So grab you, move you down. Change you to, let's go to Babus. I've been in love with Babus recently. And it's a nice kind of contrast to the other one.
Yeah. Nice and bold, eye-catching and clean.
Funky bath soap. I don't like the way that sounds, but I'm a little brain dead today. So we're going to use our friend AI Rewrite. You selected. Red bath bar.
Ooh.
Revive bath bar.
That's cool.
Freshen up soap.
I like the alliteration there with frankly Lisa.
Yeah. Frankly, Lisa, freshen up soap. I like that one.
Yeah.
So we're just going to use that. We're going to retype it.
Yeah. I love that because I don't know, there's something about, I don't trust my own sense of writing sometimes. When I'm putting something down, it might sound catchy to me, but then I always second guess myself. I love that you can get a bunch of options going and just like a little short brainstorm right there in the tool.
And forgive me, I was going to drop a little bit more pop on this. Maybe a shadow on you too. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a little overkill, but so is the soap.
Yeah, it's on brand.
And I will use my little guides here to line everything up. And so we got our nice little tilt, a little swagger, got some sticker action going on here. I'm loving it. What do you think?
I love it. And you managed to do that in under 10 minutes. And you, like you said, now you have your social media content. That was fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, like grab a cup of coffee, knock companies out and get them on the schedule. And I'm done for the week.
Wow. Fantastic.
And then seriously, and then after this, just export it, name it, save it as a JPEG or a PNG. PNG is my favorite. More systems take it.
Ooh,
And download it to your own, and you're done. And it upscales beautifully too. Like you can load this up pretty much as big as you want to, and you see very, very little degradation in it. It's so great. It's so great. Y'all make this so easy. It should almost be illegal.
Love it. Thanks, Bess. Amazing. All right. How does that feel, Corinne? Do we need any retakes of that section, or do you feel like we can move on to the crushed it? Absolutely crushed it. All right. Amazing. Okay, so I'm about to share my screen for the use cases now. I'm just going to talk us through that section.
Perfect.
That was an incredible demo, first of all. So thank you so much, Baz, for showing us the magic. I always love seeing how people use the tools and which ones they prefer. I was totally not expecting the AI writer one, so that was a really cool surprise. So really,
I was trying to cram everything in there.
Right? Yeah. Really quickly, I just wanted to go through some other options and other scenarios that you might be creating for your business and other people might relate to. Can you tell us a little bit about this cologne bottle? I was taking a look at this before and was really intrigued by the little lemons that were on the side.
Yeah, so this is actually a product that's in pre-production, but I wanted to gather some hype around it. So all I had was a stock photo of my bottle, but it's kind of the same thing. I did the background removal. I used the AI background replace feature and just said, I wanted some sunny grass. And then there's this wonderful AI replacement tool that lets me just kind of erase the areas around what I want and say what I want there. So I wanted some lemons with some leaves. And it just right into place, just like that. And it was done. That took actually, I think, maybe 45 seconds to do.
Love that. Love that. I just love that it looks like you really properly staged this bottle of cologne. So you have like your simple option, which I can tell in the before, and then you have this awesome after option that makes you feel like you can smell it. So really cool.
Like lifestyle photos are so hard to do, especially for a fragrance business like mine. Like you have to like show what the fragrances are, but you also need to like show it on a bathroom counter. It's so weird. But this is like some great options. It saves me a lot of money too, because I want to buy props.
Totally. That was what I was just thinking was like people who have to do these photo shoots, you have to go out and actually get those things that you're staging it with. But really love this example. And then another example of when you have perhaps a in-person showing, or maybe you're at an actual storefront, or maybe you're interacting with a customer and they just purchased this item, but really being able to just capture the photos of your products on the go. I've heard that your scrubbies are a very popular item in your guys' storefront. So could you tell us a little bit more about this use case?
Yes. So I actually made our entire like product catalog based off of this. I was at the farmer's market and I just laid out my scrubbies on our table at our farmer's market because I knew I had some work to do and I had some downtime. And I just shot it directly on the table. So much like this was a flat lay that I did for a friend of mine who needed like just a good like all over product photo shot. But it's the same thing. Like I just did it. I erased out the background with the background the background remover tool. And then added a glowing sticker. I didn't even paint that in. It's literally a sticker that's just in the system. I just typed in green glow and I stretched it behind the scrubby, threw it behind and then added the background just like I showed you. Again, so simple. It took no time at all.
So cute. I was going to ask you how you achieve that glow. It's a sticker. That's so cool.
It's a sticker.
Rock on. Very cool. Well, as we can see from the 3 different use cases you showed us, that first one being the shot of the cologne bottle, the second one being the Frankly Lisa soap, really for kind of a social media. And then this third one, it sounds like all 3 of these are really the bottom line is you can achieve them very quickly, no matter what the use case is, but your product looks stunning. So love that.
And all on your phone too. And you can do all of it on your phone, exactly. On the fly.
Yeah, not needing a professional camera. Really cool stuff. Awesome. Well, with that, we've just talked through an in-depth look at how you can really create the content that you need, not breaking your budget, not shelling out too many dollars, but still getting that really great looking content. And now we're going to kick it over to Pinterest so that they can explain to you how to grow that content's reach. Because now you've got that gorgeous content and now you want everybody to be able to see it. So over to you, Mish.
Okay, cool. I'll take over. Okay. So for anyone who missed the start, I'm Michelle Picsart, or you can call me Mish from Pinterest UK, and I'm here to update you on the latest and greatest of how to use Pinterest to work smarter, not harder. As we've seen, every content creator / small business owner has a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So how can you work smarter, not harder to supercharge your content and make it work better for you? That's working nicely. Lovely. So Pinterest is perfectly positioned to help you work smarter, not harder. And so I'm going to explain how to think about Pinterest as part of that digital marketing repertoire and how Pinterest and Picsart work together to make your life easier and your content work harder for you for longer. So Pinterest has a really unique position at the intersection as you can see here, of search, social, and commerce. Our users, we call them pinners. They're here to search for inspiration, curate and collaborate with others, and purchase from brands that they love. Pinterest provides the ideal place for all of those people to explore their interests, discover new ideas, and bring creativity into their life. And our mission is to really bring everyone the inspiration to create a life that they love. So Pinterest is that great place for pinners, creators, brands, publishers, professional curators, social media managers, trying to access your audience. So you as the content creator, and when I say content creator during this presentation, I'm thinking very broadly speaking. So you might be a traditional content creator, influencer. You might also be a brand, publisher, business owner, whoever you are. If you're a content creator, I'm talking to you. And so you're bringing inspiration to your audience on Pinterest and ultimately helping them to turn that into a reality in the real world. We try to help pinners to find inspiration that really enriches their lives and allows them to take action out in the real world. And those users, we have over 500 million monthly users. Whoops. Over 500 million monthly users who are coming to Pinterest across the globe each month. And then looking at this middle stat, I've got some Pinterest basics for you to make this make some sense. So each piece of content or image or video on Pinterest, we call a pin. And our users discover and take action on those pins that they love or find useful by saving that pin to their personal collection of boards. And so think about individual pins like singles, boards like albums. And we are really looking to drive that save. That is a real high intent engagement. And so that's a metric that every content creator or business on the platform should be optimizing for. And as you can see here, there's 1.5 billion saves happening across Pinterest every single week, which is a huge number of really deep intent. And so, of course, on Pinterest, people can also simply click, they can view, but that taking that action to save that piece of content, your content to their boards, is what you're looking to optimize for. And then this final stat here, this plus 50%, we've recently seen a large increase on clicks and saves of shoppable content on Pinterest, which is great news if, like Baz, you have products or services to offer. And Gen Z is Pinterest's fastest growing and most engaged audience ever. Over 40% of our monthly users are now Gen Z, and that's ever growing. So Gen Z engage deeply with content on Pinterest, saving nearly 2.5 times more ideas compared to all of the other generations that we see on Pinterest too. Gen Z love Pinterest. So how is Pinterest different? Of course, as a content creator, small business owner, you have so much to contend with, so many different platforms that you feel like you should be on. Why Pinterest? And so we like to think as Pinterest is very complementary. There's a time and a place for every platform, and Pinterest can work alongside those. So these are some differentiators that you think about when you're thinking about creating content on all of those different platforms that you want to show up on, and why you should think about Pinterest to kind of work smart and hard for you in the background. Your content lasts way longer on Pinterest than any other platform. And so your content doesn't disappear after a day or two. And because of that, the pace is quite different on Pinterest to other platforms, which is very often quite refreshing for many of our users and for our content creators on Pinterest. So be patient with your content, allow longer lead times for users to interact, to save with your content. So that also means extend your kind of window measurement of success over a longer period than you might do on other platforms. So you're not necessarily going to upload some content and get overnight success on Pinterest, even if you have a huge profile already. Allow that content, have patience, allow that content to build up. So consistency is really key to posting to Pinterest. Post minimum weekly, daily is fantastic. As much content as you can get up there consistently, and you can use Picsart and scheduling tools as part of this, and to make sure that you're bringing that content to the platform on a regular basis, because that will really help that content to get out there. And some of our creators are seeing their content being saved for weeks, for months, and even for years on the platform. And so that ultimately drives traffic to their shop or the website. And that's really just working hard in the background for them while they're off doing that other 1,000,001 things that they need to do, wearing all of the hats. And then second image here, saves. So I've talked about this already a little bit, but make sure you're thinking about saves as opposed to follows or likes. We prioritize that distribution of content with meaningful engagement, like a save, that high intent. And the more your content is engaged with or saved, the more your content's going to show up across the ecosystem on Pinterest. So yes, it's going to show up to those people who are following your profile and to more and more people with similar interests or similar profiles to people who are already following and interacting with your content. So it really doesn't matter if you have a high follower count or not. You can have a really small follower count. You can still get followers on Pinterest, but don't waste time and energy optimizing for it right now. You can still get great success on the platform. For example, I've seen publishers who may have a few hundred followers, but can get into the millions of monthly unique views on their platform, on their profile. And so that's really what you're looking to optimize. Those monthly views is a key metric. Saves is the individual metric that you should be looking for that will drive that. And intent-driven audiences. Our pinners come to Pinterest with a real open mind and with a purpose. And so this creates a great opportunity for creators and brands to insert themselves naturally in the user's decision-making process. And think of Pinterest as a visual search engine, this last photo on the side here. And so Pinterest algorithm, whilst it's beautiful visual content that works really well on Pinterest, it also relies on signals from keywords. So in your title and descriptions of your pins and your boards, and also the copy on your profile will ensure that that content is served to the right pinner at the right time, whether that's days, weeks, months, years. So think about how that can work for you. I'll talk a little bit more about that later too. Basically, remember, anywhere that you can add copy to Pinterest, consider what you're writing and what signals you're giving to our Pinterest algorithm. Think about it a bit like SEO. And so, how should you get started on Pinterest? If you're here, we're assuming you're a Picsart user for sure. You may already be on Pinterest, or you may be brand new, looking to get on Pinterest. Maybe you're looking to up your game. So hopefully these are going to be some useful tips to get you at a level where you should be able to charge forward with your Pinterest strategy. So these are the bare minimums, the essentials that you need. And so make sure that you have a business account. Sounds obvious, but sometimes people might be using perhaps an old personal account that they didn't realize they could convert into a business account. So either do that, you might have a personal account that you're using that makes sense to convert as a business account, or you can create a completely free separate business account. This will give you access to professional tools, to analytics. Most importantly, without this business account, you cannot see how well your content is doing, what's working for you in order for you to optimize it as you go along, and generally accessing special features as well. Make sure you optimize that profile, like I was just saying, making sure that it represents, sounds obvious, but make sure it represents your brand or whatever it is you're trying to get across. Great keywords that really describe who you are. And that also goes to the names of the boards that you're working on too. You can claim your website. And so if you have a website, this is a fantastic way to make sure that you're claiming that content. And then there is also a way, if you have a shop, you can upload your catalog, for example. So you can think of Pinterest as your storefront. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but we now also have a new feature that's Instagram account claiming. So that's also a really great organic profile best practice to do. You should just make sure that you go into your settings, you can claim your website, you can claim your Instagram profile, and that allows you to automate content as well, which works really lovely alongside the Picsart scheduling too, as well as making sure that you've got more content there. And generally, you can claim the contents of anyone. This might be a bit confusing if you're new to Pinterest, but if any of your fans, for example, are saving your content from your website or your Instagram to Pinterest, you'll get analytics on that content too. So you're essentially enabling your fans to really do the work for you as well, which is lovely. And then main takeaway, as this is a lovely dual presentation, make sure that you're connecting to Picsart, right? So once you've got your Pinterest profile worked out, make sure you're connecting your Pinterest profile through your Picsart settings, and then you'll be able to schedule that content directly from Picsart to be able to do all those fantastic things that Baz demoed, create that beautiful imagery, resize as needed, for example, and then schedule that to Pinterest. So you've primed your profile. Now you need to get that content up there. And this is where Picsart comes back into. Of course, you create that fantastic content and publish it, as we mentioned. But there's a couple of particular types of content that if you're new to Pinterest or looking to up your game on Pinterest, then you can think about these as really great ways just to understand the Pinterest mindset that might just slightly differ to other digital platforms that you're working on. So 3 of the main buckets of content that our pinners are searching for on Pinterest are displayed here. So I'll give you a couple of examples, and this hopefully will help relate to the type of content that you have. And also think about your historic content, which I'll go to in more detail in a second as well. Think about your historic, your archive content, any B-roll footage that you have already, and how you could repurpose that. So we're talking seasonal, so content that happens during a specific period of time, as illustrated here by summer holiday. That can be something that can be, depending on where you are in the world, can work for quite a broad period of time, because people on Pinterest are planning. So whether they are on their summer holidays or they're looking for the next one, that could be any time of year. So that could be really relevant. We're about, at least in this hemisphere, we're about to go into winter. So any winter content, Halloween's huge on Pinterest, Christmas, Diwali, New Year, anything that you've got going on in a seasonal manner, see how that can work for you. And also look back at that content, as I say, like, have you got seasonal content from this time last year, from Christmas last year, from Halloween last year that you could put on Pinterest now? You might not have shot that content yet, maybe. You can put that on Pinterest and start testing that early on. Basically, our users are planners, so they're always looking forward, which is fantastic, and ties into trending content. Trending content is huge on Pinterest because people are looking forward. It's often where we see lots of trends start bubbling up. They're almost, Pinterest is a bit of an incubator for trends, and then you see it out in the real world or out in more real-time platforms. And so think about how your content can inspire those trends. Barbecue is a huge example that we've seen for a long time, but it might also be more micro trends that are happening within your local area or that week, that month, that season. And so think about what trending content you have, because Pinterest is such a great place for that, and people are always looking for that trending content. Evergreen, I've touched on this, but evergreen content at any time of year, how can you make the content that you already have evergreen? Is that maybe on a different platform, you might say, this week, I'm doing this as part of that piece of content, but on Pinterest, think about that broadly. Maybe actually you take away the time factor, and that allows that content to fly for longer. And so repurposing content, I've been alluding to the fact that this is something that can be a really great boost to getting started and upping your game on Pinterest. How can you repurpose your content for Pinterest, for your content strategy, so that you can work smarter and not harder as a content creator? Here are a couple of pretty straightforward reformatting tips. And in this sense, I want you to think about, again, that B-roll footage. What do you have already? Archive stuff that you've had from earlier this year. So you're not necessarily thinking of reshooting content as you're looking to test very quickly on Pinterest, although we fully endorse, obviously, any new shoots that you're doing, planning, any new photography that you think is going to really work for Pinterest based on those categories that I just focused on. Think about that. How can you get that volume of content on Pinterest quickly? So look at your old content, remove watermarks. We don't want to see watermarks from other platforms, and that might penalize you in a system. So make sure that you've got a nice clean image, which Picsart can, of course, help you do if you can't do otherwise. Be conscious of Pinterest safe zones. The format might be just slightly different to some other platforms. That's something that you can look up and we can follow up with later, but just be aware of that. Using high resolution, full screen, video or image is a great idea to make sure that you've got the quality that you need. Introducing your idea with text. And so the next point here is adjusting for sound off. Pinterest is a pretty chill platform, and so we optimize for sound off as part of the user experience automatically. So bear that in mind when you are creating your content. If you have a voiceover, fantastic, but how are you either captioning that or putting a fantastic text overlay in that first snippet, in that thumbnail, so people understand what it is that they're looking to and that they're hoping to get involved, watched, click, save. And then if you are repurposing content, think about the music. You can, yes, we're sound off, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have any sound. Think about voiceover, think about music. Do you have any royalty-free music? Tick, brilliant. Or you can use the Pinterest music library as well, which is really helpful. And if you're reformatting from another, obviously the music libraries on the different platforms can be different. So make sure that you're using approved music that works for Pinterest. And then a little bit more about using creative design tools like the wonderful Picsart. So efficiency at your fingertips. I think this is the main thing that we're really driving home here, is that how you can have everything in one place. That simplified creation process allows you to share your content and just saving that time and effort, as Baz demonstrated earlier as well. That consistency is really key on Pinterest. And so using a tool like Picsart as well is fantastic for maintaining this brand image or brand colors across all of your content that's coming to Pinterest and beyond. And as I say, repurpose and breathe new life into that old content. You can repurpose, resize content from other platforms as you're getting onto your Pinterest journey and as you're looking to just bring more content onto the platform. And you've got, I think Baz already really showcased this as well in his demo, but being able to see that comprehensive creation tools that you're able to access to make really high quality, beautiful pins through Picsart is a huge benefit. And then data, of course, you can see data and see that performance driven content. You can test stuff there too. So the last little section that I have for you, a couple I've alluded to, but is a little, well, it's things that are live, but a bit of a sneak peek to let you know what's new at Pinterest. As you're getting on the platform, as you're building up your profile, what are the new things that you can try that's cool and that you can kind of see to make your profile fly as it's new? I touched on this, but Instagram account claiming, I'll show you a little bit how this looks. You can see this example here. This is a profile of one of our home creators, home brands on Pinterest. And if it's not too tiny, you can just see underneath their bio, you can see a tiny little black and white Instagram logo here. And that means that they've claimed their Instagram account. And what that means is they can go back, automatically upload the, say, 90 days of their home feed, static and video, to their Pinterest profile as it's connected to Instagram and Pinterest. So that will, for example, create a board where all of that content will live, which gives you suddenly a boost, a nice injection of content. And you can also auto-populate that too. And that's really complementary as you're then scheduling content through Picsart, for example. And it also gives you some great own content to use for this next feature. This is a beloved feature. If anyone over the past years, over lockdown, we launched a sister brand, a sister app named Shuffles. And it was driving cutout and collage technology that we've developed over at Pinterest. And this is now coming to the Pinterest app proper, which is super exciting because it's been super loved by Gen Z and beyond. It's something that's a really nice way, as somebody who, as a brand, as a content creator, is always looking to create more content. You need so much output, right, for the world of your digital strategy. This is a great way to bring your content together. So for example, if you've got a shop and you've uploaded your catalog, if you've just integrated your Instagram content to your Pinterest profile, think about all of those as like the pages of a magazine. And then now you're going to use this feature to cut out the individual images and stick them together. Proper like pinboard, old school pinboard style. You can get super creative with this. It's really, really fun. And so this example here, you can see a lifestyle image where we have slightly darkened the rest of the image and zoomed in with our cutout technology on the lamp. The lamp then goes to a lovely blank image, and you can start populating this with different backgrounds, with different elements of your content. You can also use other content too that's on Pinterest or your photo reel too. And so this is a really fantastic feature that we're really excited about here. So give this a go. And then thinking of all of that, once you've created some fantastic boards, so you've created your content on Picsart, you've shared it to Pinterest, you've curated a board, say some product ranges, or your latest ideas, or a gift board, or your latest outfit inspiration, you can then show that board to the world. And so this is a new feature that we've introduced this year as well, very recently. And it's also great in the world of making your life easier. You need video content for all of the different platforms, right? And so this is a really great way to make video content and share what's going on your Pinterest to the wide world. So you can go to one of your boards and you can select the images you want to share. and create an automated video that you can then share on other platforms and ultimately drive people back to your Pinterest. So this is a fantastic way to get your ideas out there and to make your life easier by creating a little bit more video content for everywhere that you're showing up on. So as your final takeaway, I think the most important thing is, well, experiment and patient on Pinterest, but ultimately to get the ball rolling, you need to connect your Pinterest profile to that Picsart account, and then you can manage your content publishing that way. This is a lot of information very quickly. We'll follow up with some more as well. And if you have any specific questions, please ask them now, and we can also answer them in the follow-up blog post too. So thank you very much. And with that, we have some time either to go back to the demo, up to you guys, or we can have some questions.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Misha. I think we could jump to questions, and then through those questions, we can maybe hear a little bit more about your perspective and also Thibaut and Baz's together, if that sounds good. We have some really cool questions that came in from people. So we'll address as many of them as we can, of course, and then address anything that we don't get to live in the blog post soon to come after this masterclass. So one of the questions that people are wondering about, I think I will direct to Thibaut and Baz first. It's content related. People want to know, is there a best practice when it comes to which images or videos you should pick to share? Maybe talk about how you can zhuzh up your content and make it a little bit better for content marketing purposes.
Yeah, Baz, go for it.
I always start with ones that are like have good edges, where the subject is very, very clear, and there's just a good even lighting over all of it. So I actually love to take pictures outside on like a semi-cloudy day, or in front of a shaded window, just so there's a good even photo. It's not what I would do when I was a studio photographer, because then I had to make everything so really, really precise. For AI, it's actually really best to have something that is just evenly toned, and that's way easy to do for any tool that you have.
Yeah, and post one, and then I'll say from more of a kind of product capabilities, make sure to use the template so that you have the right size, the right ratio. On pins, there's a specific format, so you want to use the right format, so you're not, you don't have things kind of like looking cropped and things like that. And then also, I like to use personally for my content like PNG because they're less compressed, so that allows you to have better resolution rather than JPEG. But yeah, these are pretty much the tricks. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to just make sure that your photo looks gorgeous with the best environment and the best contrast. And I think Baz's recommendation is spot on.
Brilliant. Thank you both. This next question I think is best for Mish. How many times should you be publishing content on Pinterest, say in a week? Is there a magic number that you'd recommend?
Yeah, great shout. I think it really depends on how much content you've got, right? I think about I like to call it exploded content. So if you've got, say, I'm going to use an outfit of the day as a recommendation. You've got an outfit of the day. Maybe you're going to use quite a finished image for that for other platforms. Think about, and this is with the spirit of making your life easier as well. Think about how you can actually take multiple pieces of that particular image, and you can have particular detail or a close-up or a zoom out or a snippet of video or an image. And so you could post multiple times for that particular piece of content. And so definitely weekly, I think you hit on that. Like weekly is really what we're looking to see, like weekly active, but then also try daily. It really depends on who you are and how much content you've got. I think it's something like 200 pins. You should go over 200 pins. And so that you've got quite a lot of leeway. And so just keep it consistent and keep it realistic for you. Think about that B-roll footage. You can upload like 10 pictures from one particular photo shoot, for example, broadly speaking, in one day to Pinterest. That's fine because it's going to be distributed throughout the platform, throughout the ecosystem as people are looking for it. So don't worry about that curation of content. That's going to be really helpful, hopefully, as well to you to get that volume of daily, weekly content.
Really helpful to know. And I love how you did give a shout out earlier that you don't need to have like thousands of followers to get 1 million views or shit on your content.
Yeah, I'd say it's a really level playing field as a platform in that respect. Don't worry about building followers first. Don't worry about building followers ever on Pinterest. It's a really nice byproduct. It's there, and there are useful things to have. If you have followers, your content will be seen by them for sure, but focus on the individual pieces of content and how they're going to live on through the ecosystem, and the copy and all the signals that you're giving the Pinterest from the visuals, the text overlay, so that people are engaging with that. And they're people who are not your followers. They're people who are out in the ecosystem looking for stuff, whatever it is that you're putting out into the world. And so, yeah, your content can really fly way past your followers. So that's how you should think about it for sure.
Excellent. This next question, I think all three of you could actually chime in on. It's a little bit industry specific, but I know, Baz, you also have a graphic design background. So visually, we would love to hear your perspective. So if someone has a fashion brand, what kind of content should they be sharing to really get their brand out there, their products sold? And then maybe specifically on Pinterest, what are some best practices? But really for if somebody who has a fashion brand, what are some best practices for showcasing their stuff?
Can I start quickly while I have the mic, and then I'll go over? So let's start Pinterest specific first. So if you have those products to sell, fantastic. Fashion is huge on Pinterest. So this is a really great opportunity. Upload your catalog, depending on where your catalog lives. You know, if it's, for example, a Shopify, there's an integration that you can make that work. And then you just have those products. And to Baz's point, there might be product, kind of maybe flatter product images, and then think about building out lifestyle images on Pinterest through Picsart. Then you can do whatever kind of look, whatever trend. Is there a color that you're particularly selling, leaning into as a trend leader? Or are there also trends that are happening out in the world, or seasonal moments that are happening out in the world that you can align your content with? And that could be a get ready with me. That could be a collage, as I said, of kind of like mapping different different parts of your products together to form a look. And there's so much that you can do in regards to kind of perhaps how you would style a particular item on Pinterest. People are really looking for that how-to, generally speaking, in fashion. Then they're looking to also actually action and purchase and build that outfit together. So make sure it's useful, and also are people able to actually click and buy, because so many people are looking to do it on Pinterest. It's a huge opportunity.
I actually have absolutely nothing to add to that, other than what I've noticed is that flat lays get clicks, but lifestyle and style photos actually get the sales. So showing the products in use is really what makes people put it in their cart and go for it. But it's seeing the item just kind of isolated by itself, maybe on like a color background or a texture, is what people get. It gets people interested.
Brilliant. That's very, very insightful. Anything to add to that, Thibaut?
No, these were, I mean, no, I'm not going to pile on. These were great answers.
Fantastic. Okay, great. One more question we have. So we didn't really cover video today, but one of the questions is it possible to edit video and then use on Picsart and then publish that to Pinterest?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the features that Baz covered, such as removing the background text and all these tools are available also in the video tool. So Baz covered a static image. If you go to the video section, you'll find all kinds of tools, such as adding text. You'll be able to trim. You'll be able to add transitions, remove backgrounds, and all kinds of features. And then from there, you'll be able to export your video at different resolution, and then you can save it on Pinterest. You cannot export it directly to Pinterest. You'll have to save it into your roll and then publish it from Pinterest. But for images, you can directly export from Picsart to a Pinterest board through destination natively. And so, that's what you can do. I think it'd be great to save directly from video. So I'm already looking into it so that we can make sure you don't have to save to the camera roll.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to see that.
Anticipated my follow-up question. Great.
Amazing. And to talk about video on Pinterest as well, like video is really eye-catching on Pinterest. Static content works brilliantly, and then video works as well. And try it out. I think this is the experiment mindset. You can have short snippets of video. You can have slightly longer form video on Pinterest. Make sure that you are tying people in with that text overlay and the keywords from the very beginning, so that people are clicking and understanding, also remembering that Pinterest is a sound off platform. But yeah, try video. And again, it might be a great way to think of that exploded content. You've got a video, but maybe you've got a static that's complementary or literally from that video shoot, and think about putting multiple versions up there, see what works for you.
Excellent. Great shout. I just wanted to add, if you are a content creator or a small business owner on a budget, there is a stock video library on Picsart. So when you're in the video section that Thibaut was talking about, and you're looking to experiment with some video content, maybe even create a mini commercial, we have a Getty stock image library filled with different videos that you can pull from that are free for commercial use. And you can use that to sort of zhuzh up your content, make it dynamic, and also experiment without dropping too many dollars. So that's a little extra insider tip. Okay, I think we have time for one more question before we wrap things up. So we covered best practices for picking images, cadence of content, and also really like how to get the most out of it depending on the industry, what leads to more clicks versus sales. Is there, of course, we're Picsart and Pinterest here, but is there any other platform or area or surface that you'd recommend people be sharing their content on for that wide reach?
That's a question for Baz, I guess, as a
for all three of you, really. But yeah,
I mean, I think, I can start. I mean, I'm not a small business owner. I'm more like, I have my side hustle with my thing on music, with my sole passion, and what I do. And what I've done is I've actually focused on one platform. And so I think my perspective is that it's better to actually take care of one or two platforms where you're going to be really good and exceptional at it than like distributing stuff everywhere and feeling like you're just duplicating things. I think authenticity is everything. Less is more. That's my perspective. Very curious to hear Baz and Mish and point of view, and even you, Caitlin.
From my point of view, it's always best to figure out where your audience is. Like, who is actually, what is your demographic? Who are you selling to, and where are they online? And if they're in a platform that you're not on, you're wasting your time and effort. There's also such really great crossover posts that you can still go to the other ones, cross post, recycle content, reuse content, like Mish was talking about. So you really can just record once, edit twice, and publish 4 times, and that saves you so much time and effort. But it is all about identifying where your demographic is, where are they shopping, where are they buying, and getting your stuff properly formatted and attractive for that audience on that platform.
Yeah, I love that, Baz. I think in that spirit, I think there's a time and a place for every platform. And of course, I am a big believer of Pinterest. And I think my passion, also why I love working for Pinterest, is because it can be so complementary to those other platforms and hopefully more stress-free. As Thibaut says, yeah, like focus on other platforms, but how can Pinterest be working hard for you in the background? How can you not necessarily be on Pinterest every hour of the day, but it still be working for you? And so exactly like Baz just said, how do you make that content that's working across multiple platforms, and how are you able to schedule it to Pinterest to then allow that to just work smart and hard in the background, constantly driving you traffic and sales over those weeks, months, years. And so you'll find your audience on Pinterest for sure. It's such a broad audience. And then just making it work harder for you at a different pace, I think is super complementary to when you might having to be doubling down on some other platforms that might be a little more time consuming.
Brilliant. We love work smarter, not harder. I think that is a fantastic note to end on. I want to say thank you, experts. Thank you to Baz so much. The demos and the content were fantastic. Even with the Wi-Fi battles, it was really, really awesome to see. Thank you, Thibaut. Thank you, Mish. And thank you, everybody who is tuned in live or is watching this back via recording. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we look forward to sharing more with you. Keep an eye out for that blog post. It'll be coming shortly after this session.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.